And we are back with another episode of From the Rafters. Sam and I are here finally on Friday, August 27th. It's been, I think, almost 2 weeks now since we've been able to record. Both of us
Busy
on
2 weeks for the
vacation.
boys.
Yeah.
And we
I mean,
came
this is
back
the
with the fucking
first.
drip if you're watching on YouTube.
Same shirt, Target, right? You get yours at Target, I would assume.
Probably Burlington Coat Factory.
Gotcha. This is my new favorite brand of shirts now. It was $8, so you can't
That's
beat
right.
value. But yeah, I was in the Cape Cod. Sam was in London. So this was the first, multi-week break I think we've taken since the start of COVID, right? Since there was no actual basketball to talk about. So I guess you could say it was due, but we are back. Show is not canceled. Do not
We were
fret.
all over the place.
And it just so happened that while we were away, the Celtics decided to drop bombs
Which is
on the
good.
world. So yeah, at least they did something. So we got plenty to
England, by
talk
the way,
about.
perfect weather. I came back,
Really?
got off the plane yesterday, absolutely bummed. 90 degrees.
Oh, it's
Unbelievable.
gross. It's gross here, yeah.
It's like 65, 70 degrees every day. I run. It's like nothing. I couldn't even I had to run on the treadmill today. That was horrible. Treadmill, don't do it. Oh my God.
Brutal. But yeah, let's start from I guess the beginning. Did we get the chance to talk about the Dennis Schroeder signing? Has it been that long? I think it might have been that
Oh, I
long.
think we got him.
Did we? Did we get into that? Let me just check the records
Pretty
really
sure we did,
quick
but we
live
can
on
we
air.
can do
But
again.
yeah, I mean, no, we did not get to the Dennis Schroeder signing. Yes, we did. I lied.
Yeah.
We did. That was the last thing we did. So we'll skip past that, and we'll start with the Marcus Smart extension. And I'll let you take this opportunity. I suppose if you'd like to say I told you so, even though I never was specifically advocating for a Marcus Smart trade.
Well,
But
tonight I
if you'd
told you
like
so,
to,
but not to Jack.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is something we mulled over for months. I was on both sides of the fence. If he didn't want to stay, then you do have to get rid of him. But he did want to stay. He said that. He said he loves playing for the Celtics. They gave him some money, and they gave him a 4-year, $77 million contract, I think.
Yeah,
I'm
right around
happy
there.
he's sticking around. It fits the narrative. I want him to get his jersey retired someday. I think he's doing things to earn it. I think he plays hard. I think he embodies what it means to be a Celtic. So I'm very glad he's on the team for the foreseeable future. I'm glad you don't have to worry about him leaving and going to play somebody else that potentially would have to, you'd have to play against in maybe a playoff series. I don't know. Playoff performer Marcus might be something to see next season. You go ahead. Your turn.
Yeah, I mean, I think my cap was around the $18 million mark, and this one averages out to around 19.25 a year, which I guess in the long run is still a steal for a guy like Marcus. Under 20 million, I think, is where most people wanted to see the contract land, because I think he probably would have gotten, 21, 22, 23 on the open market. Even if you think that's an overpay, that's just the price of talent in the NBA now. So getting him on the books for the next 4 years under $20 million is kind of crazy. Great job by Brad Stevens. I'm looking forward to it. The question now is, before we get into the other extensions, does Marcus Smart remain the starting point guard, or do they run a Schroeder Smart lineup? Like, what do you think the plan is there? I know it'll be up to Ime Udoka, but what would you prefer to see?
I think Udoka came out and said that he wants the ball to be in Marcus's hands a lot of the time. I think that's the plan. Obviously, I believe those quotes were before Schroeder showed up. But even then, we talked about this last time we talked about him. Schroeder's cool with whatever. He'll come off the bench. He's open to it. That doesn't matter to him. So if they do decide they want Marcus to start, which I think they will, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think he's primed, at least for the opportunity, at the very least. He's shown that he's a very capable passer. He will make good passes. He has good vision. And if he truly does buy into that role, which, I mean, if depending on who you are, is a big if you don't believe in him, that's your thing. Maybe you don't. But I think he will buy into the distributor role. He won't be chucking as much. And I think a lot of people are going to change their mind about him if he, plays the role right. I saw somebody today. Last thing, I was done, so you read me right. I saw somebody today say that he could have a serious bid for most improved, and I don't think that's that crazy. Depending on the success and how well he plays, but
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's a whole improvement thing. But
Uh-huh.
I think he's a good fit to be the point guard on this team. He can have moments where he takes over a game, but it's not what he should be doing. What he should be doing is passing and playing defense. So good
Mhm.
fit.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this year, realistically, Marcus Smart could potentially be the third option on the team, right? You could argue for Dennis Schroeder. You could argue Josh Richardson. If you want to say Robert Williams takes that next step, I don't see it, but I suppose you could argue that too. But if he's hitting his shots at a decent clip and can embrace that, pass first, point guard role, I don't think there's any reason he can't average like 15 and 8. Does that sound crazy? I don't think that would necessarily put him in the market for most improved, but I think that those should be the realistic targets. I think the most important thing for
Yeah,
him is
is the
shooting.
8.
Yeah, yeah, the 8. I was gonna say I think the most important mark he needs to reach is 35% from three. Like even like I'm not asking for 40, I'm not asking for 38, nothing crazy. But he shot like 33 last year, which is just like if you can get that around league average, which I think league average last year was actually like 37, 38, which is wild. But I'm just talking 35, 36. If he can hit that from three, get those 8 assists a game, 15 points maybe. I think those are solid benchmarks for him. And this is assuming or hoping that the Jays can both average 25 plus. I think those are goals for them as well. But yeah, I'd love to see Marcus be the starting point guard. I think he fits the mold perfectly. If you're talking about a defender, obviously Marcus is that. A passer, I don't think we've gotten the chance to see Marcus as the primary ball handler on the team ever, right? Because in the past 6 years, you've had what? IT for two of them, Kyrie for two of them, Kemba for two of them. Like you're just going down
Yeah.
that list. Last year, you could maybe say Kemba wasn't it, but it was kind of bounced around a bit much. But like you said, Udoka wants to make him the starting point guard. And so the ball will be in his hands, and I'll have the chance to prove it because he hasn't really been a point guard since his first couple of years in the league. And at that point, it was still Rondo, Avery Bradley, et cetera, running the team. So I think it'll be, a good chance for Marcus to prove himself to the doubters. And hopefully he can step up to the plate. I think still, though, like I said, that 3-point percentage is probably the most important thing, at least for me, that I want to see from him because I know the passing's there. I know the defense is there. I just need to see that 3-point shooting. Moving on to the next extension, which I would argue is probably some of the best value in the league. Robert Williams, 4-year, 54 million, I think, around 13 million per season. That's absolutely wild that Brad Stevens got him on a deal like that. I mean, it puts him in the
48
top.
guaranteed.
Okay, yeah, puts him in the top half of centers in the league in terms of how much they make, which it seems crazy that there aren't, more centers getting paid like that. But considering his age and his potential, I think that's a steal of a contract. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. One of my buddies from work, my guy Devin, was telling me it was a horrible contract today. So I had
What
a
is
nice
Devin on?
debate. Well, he was like saying that's a lot. In the NBA, it's not a lot of money. 11 million is nothing for an NBA player. So that's the point I had to get across, and also that he's been on the upswing the last 2 seasons, which absolutely earns him that deal. The concern is the health. However, the health is the part of that is non-guaranteed is because of the health. So if he doesn't play 69 games, he will not get the extra money. Not that that money is a game changer or anything like that. He's still making 12. But yeah, that's a good contract. Not only because it's good value for you, but if something happens to where you need to trade somebody and he's playing well underneath that contract, that's a huge deal. It's for a team. Say that a contender wants him. They've got their 3 max guys and they need good depth. Perfect contract. 11, 12 million for a guy that's a free basket. Um, I mean, easy, easy.
Yeah,
Free
I agree.
basket, good rim protector, athletic. He's a good passer. He's an
Yep.
underrated passer. He's going to improve with Horford around to help him. He was mentored by Horford early on. Now Horford's back. Robert Williams, should he stay healthy, which could be a big if you really want to be the devil's advocate, is primed to play well.
I agree. And I know this is not the route many people want to think of. I'm not advocating for it, but it also makes Robert Williams' contract a very movable one. It's very, very trade friendly, especially if you're looking to match, a CJ McCollum, a Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal, that type of trade. it gets you that, step closer to doing that. And he is probably maybe the most valuable asset on the Celtics that they would be willing to trade, right? Because I don't think they want to move on from Tatum or Brown, obviously. So next best value is probably Marcus or Rob Williams, depending on who you ask. So that 11 million could help, get you to a Bradley Beal. And then at that point, you're running Smart, Beal, the Brown, or sorry, that's Jays and Horford. So I wouldn't complain about that. But yeah, great value, 4 years, 54 million. Like you said, only partially, or some of it is guaranteed, but
Mostly guaranteed.
mostly guaranteed. And the last contract extension, and I would argue the most surprising one, Celtics extending Josh Richardson for 1 more year. I think, at least in my mind, this is a deal to get a trade done next offseason because it'll still be on the books.
Yeah,
But
that's the story, isn't it?
yeah, I want to know your thoughts because it's around $12 million for 1 more year with the team. I like Josh Richardson, but I'm wondering what the angle is here for Brad Stevens.
Well, here's how I understand it, and obviously this is how you understand it too, because you've definitely been doing more stuff than I have over the last week as I've been on vacation, not really paying that much attention. But I do remember I saw the notification. I said, "What the hell's going on? Are they out on Beal? Like, are they done with him? Like, what's going on?" But it turns out it's the opposite. They're really in on him. The signing, first of all, is a good backup plan if it doesn't work out, because that's probably going to be a quality player you'll have around on a good deal for the next season, who I think you can extend again. I don't really know. I don't know how that all works, but I'd imagine you can. But for those who haven't seen it, the plan that is being hypothesized by all the big brains is that contract in Horford's partially guaranteed contract will be fitting for a sign and trade for Bradley Beal in the offseason, which makes a lot of sense. And it's honestly fantastic because we were talking about this for months and months and months, Jack, to where we were talking about Marcus Smart and we were saying, yeah, like you do want to keep him around, but here's the thing, you have to pay him. And if you pay him, you don't have money for Bradley Beal, who is obviously, like, they've circled it with a highlighter, said this is our plan, because they let Fournier walk, which is fine, because that's a lot of money to pay the guy for however long, 4 years. Okay, they have deliberately not. They dumped Kemba. They are in on next off season. So now they are positioning themselves to not only be in position to go after Beal, but to keep all your core pieces of Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Robert Williams, as well as probably Pritchard, Neesmith, and the gang, right, around, and then trade for Beal. And you don't have to give up any of those guys.
Yeah, ideally, right? I mean, I think it just all depends on what Washington wants for Bradley Beal. I mean, I assume you'll have to get rid of, a Romeo, a Pritchard, maybe a Neesmith. It just depends on the direction they're looking to go in, right? Because if they're trading Beal, they're not going to be competitive. Spencer Dinwiddie's fine, Kuzma's fine, KCP is a piece I like a lot, but no Beal equals no playoffs. I think they have a chance to make a run at the playoffs this year. I'm talking 8-7 seed if possible, but if they don't have Beal, they don't have a chance at the playoffs. So that means they're resetting. So that means they probably want Rob Williams, Pritchard, Neesmith, some of those guys. It just depends on who Brad wants to give up. But like you said, extending Josh Richardson allows the Celtics to match the money in a trade if that's the direction they want to go in. So I think it gives them that flexibility. And for that reason, I think the contract extension is a W. And if they don't get Beal, let's say it doesn't work out, because Beal's not a guaranteed thing. As much as we want to think about it, it's not guaranteed. I like Richardson on the team anyways. He's good wing depth. He'll help Neesmith. I mean, him and Neesmith off the bench as your two wings is great in my opinion. You have Schroeder, you have Pritchard. Schroeder's not going to be with the team past the season, which I think they should probably trade him at the deadline. I saw Keith Smith tweet that right when they signed him, because realistically, he'll get more money next offseason. I know he.
Who knows? Maybe he falls in love.
I know he's clowned in the playoffs last year because he played poorly, but he's worth more than $6 million.
Oh, he definitely is, which is steal for the Celtics.
Which is why I think they should trade him.
Yeah.
Right?
I wonder what they could get back for him.
I mean, it just depends on what team would want him, right? You got to think around the league, like to contending teams. Clippers just answered their point guard needs with Eric Bledsoe. Again, you can clown him. I clowned him for on the Pelicans, but he's a much better fit in LA than he was in New Orleans. Um, Contending teams that need a point guard or a backup point guard, realistically, not a very long list. You might
Miami,
ship him to Philly. Miami has
Milwaukee.
Lowry if they want to back up, but you also have to think because Miami, what are you going to get back, right? They're not giving you Tyler Hero, and I know you don't even want Tyler Hero, so they don't have much to give you. Milwaukee, maybe you can get like a couple picks off them for it. I wouldn't mind that. Miami doesn't have any picks to trade at this point. Philly, maybe you get a first and a second from Philly or something.
Perhaps Ben Simmons.
Hey, clown on it. I would still take Ben Simmons on the Celtics. You don't have to. I don't know. I think he's obviously still an all-star.
The word is now they're going to keep him.
Yeah, they're going to keep him until the start
today?
of the season. Yeah, because that's just because Daryl Morey has the most ridiculous asking price on the planet, and they can't move him. They're a mess. The one trade I've been seeing a lot is De'Aaron Fox for Ben Simmons, and I don't understand why Sacramento would ever be interested in that.
I don't understand why they would do that either.
But anyways, I'm not sure where Ben Simmons will end up. How did we get to this point? Bradley Beal trade, right? No, Dennis Schroeder trade.
Schroeder
is where we were. But yeah, maybe they'll look to trade him at the deadline. I don't know. That's about it for that signing, though. I've seen a lot of things going around lately in terms of next season projections. I know the last time we did a show, we did our, standings projections.
Sam stumbles through trying to make a coherent list.
Yep, pretty much. But what are you thinking? Are you still like? There's been some moves since then. Nothing too hot, but what's your floor and ceiling for the Celtics next season? Like, what's the highest you think they can get in those standings, and what's if they hit this floor, then it's a disappointing year.
Well, the floor to me isn't disappointing. I think disappointing is when you go below the floor.
Okay,
when
fine.
you have a mindset going in, okay, this is the worst we can do, and then you do worse is not good.
Like last year.
Exactly. Like last year, going in, I probably would have told you the same thing as this year. I would have said you could probably finish. You could finish first if you really knocked it out of the park, right? I'm not saying I'm listening because it's a regular season. I'm not saying they're going to win the East. I'm saying they could finish the top of the standings.
All right.
But realistically, I don't think they should fall below 4. I don't. I don't. Now
wow.
I'm starting to get really high on them. I think I'm really buying into Marcus playing point guard. I'm excited to see how it goes. They just threw some money at Richardson. He's probably going to play a little bit more motivated because he got paid a little bit. Schroeder's definitely going to be playing for a contract, so he's going to be motivated. The summer league was really good. I'm excited to see Horford back on the team. Robert Williams just got paid, so he might have some extra motivation. I mean, the Celtics have the most depth that they've had since Kyrie left on that team that was a disaster. But the year before, they took themselves to Game 7, and they should have went to the finals. They took themselves to Game 7 with that depth of the Eastern Conference Finals. So now they've got depth again behind Tatum and Brown and Marcus and Horford, who can be your probably co-third. I mean, that is a good, deep team right there. Mm-hmm. And depth was a big problem last year, and it's why they lost a lot of games. It's not going to be as difficult for Brown and Tatum to work because they've got a little bit more help around them.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I think the ceiling is probably a 3 seed. I think realistically, you're looking at 4 or 5, and I think the floor is the play-in tournament. That's
if they're in the play-in, it's going to be very not good.
I'm not saying I'll back it. Obviously, it would be a disappointment, but I think that's what the floor is.
I think you and I have different definitions of floor. Realistically, if I was you, the way you said that, your floor is the same as mine, but the absolute underachieving floor is what you just said, which is fine.
I got you.
Which I agree with. And I understand why you say third, because you think to yourself, there's 2 teams that are concrete better than them. But
at least.
The Nets are going to screw around in the regular season. It's not going to matter to them. They can turn on the playoffs. Miami might not screw around because this is kind of their first rodeo with this bunch and, they want to prove themselves. But Brooklyn has nothing to really prove in the regular season. They have to prove in the playoffs. It doesn't matter what they do in the regular season. No one cares. All of these guys are on the team to win a championship. That's what Harden hasn't done it. Kyrie did it once, and Durant did it with Golden State. So people give him shit all the time about not winning a real ring. And even if he wins here, people are still going to do the same thing because it's another stacked team. It's especially who else did they bring in, Jack? They brought in somebody else that I was like, that's Patty Mills signed with
Patty
them.
Mills.
That's ridiculous.
Yep. Patty Mills, Bruce Brown accepted the qualifying offer. Blake Griffin signed on for a minimum. Rumors are JJ Redick's looking at the Nets as well, so they'll have some good depth there again. They're just you can hate on it. Well constructed basketball team. Like, I mean, they got help. Obviously, they didn't do it naturally, but it's a good team. The way I see it, I wrote my Eastern Conference power rankings for the Eastern Conference. I just said that. For all you can heat is what I meant to say earlier this month. And I had 3 teams above the Celtics. I had the Nets number 1, I think. Bucks, Heat, Celtics. I think
Milwaukee. I'm such a clown. Milwaukee deserves to be in that conversation too.
Yeah, Milwaukee's up there.
They won a title, so they deserve it, right?
And past that, I think there's 3 teams you could argue. I think the grouping, tiers are, you got Milwaukee and Brooklyn, one like tier 1. I think the Heat are in a tier of their own at tier 2, and I think the Celtics, Hawks, and Knicks are tier 3. And the Celtics are arguably the top of that tier. I think they're definitely better than the Knicks, but I think there's a real argument that the Hawks are better than the Celtics this year. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that's the tier I would put the Celtics in moving into this season.
Yeah, see, I see those top 3 teams kind of at the same. Maybe Miami. You're kind of right.
They just haven't played together.
No, you're right.
Line of thinking.
But I kind of put the Celtics in that tier with them, but they're like hanging off. Like if it's a pyramid, they're like hanging off the stair. You know what I'm saying? Like they're kind of there, but they also really haven't. They have to prove themselves for people to take them serious after last season. Yeah. Whereas Atlanta proved themselves in the playoffs, and now they're the hype train.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Next topic of discussion I wanted to bring up. I don't know if you saw it. I think I sent it in our group chat, but I wrote a top 50 players ranking, and you clowned on me for Marcus Smart not being in the top 50. I think half is a joke.
Just joking.
Yeah, I don't think you actually saw it, but I got Brown and Tatum both in the top 50, and I want to see if you agree with some of these top 50.
And I thought Tatum was low for the people ahead of him.
You thought people like I had above him should have been
behind him.
He's better than. Okay, we'll go through the rankings and we'll see if you agree. We don't have to take, too much time on this, but I'm just curious to see. So let me pull it up. Player rankings. Should have had it up, but underprepared. So yeah, top 50 player rankings. No Marcus Smart, unfortunately. Number 1. I don't know if you disagree with this. I had Durant at number 1. We'll just go top down.
Oh, Durant's probably the best player in the league. You could make the Giannis argument big time because he just won a title.
I got Giannis at 2.
I think Durant had the best dominant playoffs out of anybody last season. I think he was the best player in the playoffs.
I got Giannis at 2, which I think is fair. I got LeBron at 3. I know you don't like him, but
no, it's probably fair.
It's LeBron.
Those 2 guys have passed him. He's got to prove himself again.
I got Curry at 4.
Yeah, Curry. The Warriors are going to be a problem this year.
They're nasty.
They're deep too.
I got Harden at 5.
Harden at 5, huh? That's fair. I mean, you can't really knock it that much. I would say maybe Luka should be above him, but
I think if Harden played every game, he would have won MVP. And that's a hot take, but I genuinely think if he played every game, he would have won MVP. Jokic.
Yeah, he probably would have.
Anyways, I got Jokic at 6. Kawhi at 7. This is assuming everyone is healthy. So Kawhi is at 7.
Well, he's not going to play.
I know. I'm just saying, if everyone in the NBA was healthy, this is where I would put him. Luka at 8.
See, I think Luka should be above those last 2 guys at the very least.
You think Luka should be better than Kawhi and Jokic?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right now, I think so. I think out of those 3, obviously Kawhi, even if he is healthy, he's coming off an injury, right? Even though it's kind of not the rules of your list, but whatever. But no, seriously, I think Luka has the best chance of being a leader on a winning team out of those 3 right now.
I agree.
To impact winning,
Yeah.
Harden, I'm fine with just because he's kind of similar to Luka. Even though, I don't know, maybe you put Luka above him because they're changing the foul rules this year, so Harden's probably going to be a scrub.
Hey, you never know about Luca
Thank
too.
goodness.
He's
Luca's
as
the
well.
same
But
thing, but he's not as bad.
9 and 10, I got Embiid and then Lillard as 9 and 10.
Yeah,
Fine
it's
there
probably
so far.
fair.
All right.
I don't know. Now Lillard's weird because he's like a really good player, but he never really wins.
You went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
No, yeah, but he's had some good playoff runs for sure. But like recently, the team hasn't been doing good. It's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough for me to buy into the hype of guys putting up monster numbers when like they're playing with nobody
Yeah.
else,
I will
which isn't
say,
their fault. Like
I will say the Blazers have dealt with a horrendous amount of injuries in the
no,
past
they
few
have
seasons.
for sure.
Mhm.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, if I said Lillard maybe shouldn't be there, somebody it probably wouldn't be you because you understand. But like Timmy Timmy would be not Timmy G. No, Timmy in particular. It's just the name.
The little kid Timmy. I
Little,
understand the
little Timmy
reference.
would be like, but he averaged this many points per game last season. I'd be like,
Yeah.
well, he had to take all the shots, so of course he did. Like Beal, I'm even though Beal's probably gonna end up on the Celtics. Like I'm fully buying into that. I don't really care for it. Like I'm not super hyped about it, but like I think he's a quality player, but I don't think he's as good as everybody says he is. He's just
I got
taking
you.
all the shots.
I got you. 11 and 12, I got Davis and Butler, Anthony Davis and Jimmy Butler.
I
Thoughts?
think Butler should be far lower.
Really? Why is this?
You know more about it than I do. You are the Heat guy, so I'm not going to really debate you. But I guess they figured it out last season. But he had a really really poor start to last season.
He struggled in the playoffs, is what happened. I mean, it's just hard for me. Less than 1 year ago at this point, Sam. Less than 1 year ago,
No,
Jimmy
I
Butler
know,
was in the
I know,
finals.
I
You know what
know,
I'm
I
saying?
know.
I just it's hard to look past that. They struggled last year. I think a lot of people are gonna be
I, I
backing the
don't
Jimmy
I don't
Butler train
dislike
this
him
year.
either. I want that
Yeah,
to be known. It's not a bias thing. I just think
if anything, he should be your favorite player in the league. He did not make a super team. He went to his own team. He's doing it
no,
by himself.
he's very respectable. He plays hard. No, I respect the
Yeah.
hell out of him.
I got you. I got
I
you.
don't have any problem with him.
I got you. 13, 14 guy, you do have a problem with Kyrie and Chris Paul. 13,
Yeah, I
14.
think both neither of those guys should be over Tatum, and I don't think Butler should be either. And who was
Wow.
11? 11 was
AD Davis.
Davis. I think Davis should probably be higher up. I don't know. Davis is probably right. I think Tatum should be right behind him.
Really? So you'd put Tatum above Chris Paul, Kyrie, and Jimmy Butler?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
It's not even close. Like I think
Wow. I
no,
think you're being a bit
seriously. I
egregious now.
think Tatum I mean Butler did in the bubble, so it's really unfair, but I think as of now, Tatum has the best skill set out of those three guys to lead a team as the best player on the team. Because Chris Paul is not the best player on Phoenix right now. It's Booker.
Okay. Yeah.
He's pulling the strings. Like I understand there's more to it than being the scorer and everything like that. Like there is a lot to it. But I think Tatum, his skill set, and I'm not like a super big Tatum guy either. Like he's fine. He's on the Celtics fine. But I think his skill set now is starting to become better equipped to lead a team to winning than those three guys, especially Butler. I don't know. Butler, I'm out on right now. He'll probably have a good season, but he got paid $50 million a year in an extension. That's ridiculous. They're going to regret that.
Okay. I disagree, but
You
I
think
suppose we'll
you
see.
think he's going to be worth $50 million
By
at the end of that
the end of the contract,
contract?
maybe not. But I think right now you had to make that move to get him on the timeline. Same with Lowry, keep him around. And absolute worst case, right? You're paying a guy who's been, doing so much for your organization. Like it's like paying Marcus Smart a big deal at that point, right? Like
Oh, it's a little different. It's like $33 million different.
in terms of price, yes, I
I
understand,
think
but they don't
any
have to.
contract that's like over like 35 is a bad deal, no matter who it is, unless it's like KD.
Even Steph Curry. I mean,
Well, all right, so you got your tier one guys. So let's say
I
like
know. I'm fucking.
in the top six guys on your list, right? Like anybody outside of those guys that is not going to be a concrete number one on your team to win you a title should not get that much money. I don't care
All
who
right.
it is. I would tell you Tatum. Well, Tatum's different because he's young. So he's on the
Yeah.
up and Butler's on the down. But
Okay.
still, I would say that's a
All
lot
right.
of money for Tatum.
I got you. Tatum is 15, right behind Irving and Paul. You can make an argument over
That
Chris
I don't.
Paul. I was having a tough time between 16 and 15. I almost put Tatum at 16, but I ended up putting him at 15.
The hell's
Paul George is 16.
No way.
All right. Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. Anyways, Paul George 16, Devin Booker 17, Chris Middleton 18. Got thoughts on those next three? I mean, they're below Tatum at this point, but Brown is yet to
Booker
be named.
deserves
So.
to be up there for sure. He just made the finals. Middleton won a title as largely the best scorer on that team. And last guy was Paul George. He's probably the worst out of those three for me right now.
All right, fair enough. Letting them to the Eastern Conference Finals, but you make your arguments. 19 Bam, 20 Trey.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think Bam is gonna have a big season. I think.
I agree.
And Trae Young earned that after the playoffs, so it's fair.
21, 22, 23 is Donovan Mitchell, Drew Holiday, Bradley Beal.
See, I think Drew Holiday is way too high.
Okay.
I think he's way too high. I'm not convinced. This is kind of drastic. I'll follow through with it, but I'm not completely behind this anymore. But like, I'm not too much convinced he's that much better than Marcus Smart is.
That's egregious.
It's a hot take. I know.
That is absolutely wild.
So much. But no, seriously, like I don't know. He's all right. He's not. I'm gonna tell you, like, probably a bunch of players behind him are better. I think Mitchell's fine. Utah was the best team in the West record-wise. Let me ask you this:
who would you rather have on your team, on the Celtics team right now, Drew Holiday or Bradley Beal?
Oh, that's a fit question. That's
I know. I just wanted to fuck with you. I knew your answer. No, yeah, I just think what Drew Holiday brings defensively, is huge, and you could argue that for Marcus.
I just think he's more of a role player. When I hear him, I think more of a role player. Not that a role player is a bad thing. It's just like, if you're gonna put him on a team I don't know. If you switch him with Beal last season, that team doesn't make the play-in.
I guess so, but that's just because Bradley Beal can give you 40 a night. It's not like Drew Holiday hasn't been like a 20-point scorer and the leader of a team, a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? Like
I know it's tough. Player rankings are always hard, man, because
I agree.
It's subjective to what team you're on and how you fit, and like what style, like what role you play.
Yeah, I got you. I just think what Drew Holiday brings, I think he's. This is gonna hurt me to say. I think he's a better version of Marcus Smart. I agree with you.
Oh, he probably is. That's what I mean.
I just think that's what it is.
When I say he's not that much better than he is. He's a more proven version that's won a title and been on a title team. You know what I'm saying? And he was really supposed to be a main star at one point. It didn't. He went to New Orleans and it didn't exactly work. But
I mean, not that it was not his fault.
The team didn't have as much success.
Yeah, I think him and Anthony Davis should have done better than they did. The best they got was the second round of the playoffs, which is just meh. Anyways, we'll move on. 23 was Beal. 24, 25 is Gobert and Westbrook.
Westbrook's way too high. Way too high.
Really?
Westbrook's not better than Brown. See, this is where I start to think about it. Like, Drew Holiday is not better than Jaylen Brown. Russell Westbrook is not better than Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
Gobert really is a role player. He is. He's a role player. His role is to block shots. He's not gonna. Jack. He gets exposed in the playoffs.
Okay. So Jason Tatum's a role player, and his role is to score baskets. That's just like the same thing you're saying.
If you put Rudy Gobert on, let's say like I don't know. Let's say like Oklahoma City, because they really don't have anybody, right? And you put Jaylen Brown on Oklahoma City, they're going to win more games with Jaylen Brown on their team.
Yeah, but you can't, like, you can't use that argument for everything.
Yeah, you can. It is. When I think which player is better, if you have a blank slate team and you put that player on the team, that team is going to be better with the better player.
All right, let me ask you this. If you put John Collins on the Thunder versus Rudy Gobert on the Thunder, who wins more games?
Rudy Gobert.
I just don't think that's true.
You don't think so?
No, I think they win more games with John Collins, but that doesn't mean John Collins is a better player. If you put Zach LaVine on the Thunder versus Rudy Gobert, Zach LaVine's going to win the more games, but who's the better player?
Does he win more games though? I don't know. Zach LaVine doesn't win very
Yes.
many games. That's the thing. He doesn't win a lot of games, Jack.
I know, and Rudy Gobert, the role he plays, and you can make a similar argument for Drew Holiday. You can call them a role player, but if you're elite in that role, it makes you an elite basketball player.
No, it
right?
does, but I don't know. It's hard for me to put him above somebody like Brown. That's for sure. He's not better than Brown.
I disagree with you at this point, and I'm a Celtics fan. I think Rudy Gobert should definitely be above Jaylen
Or
Brown.
who was the other one that I got really pissed about?
Russell
No,
Westbrook.
I said Brown. Westbrook's not better than Brown right now. That's for damn sure.
So if you put Westbrook on the Oklahoma City Thunder versus Jaylen Brown right now, Jaylen Brown wins more games.
When's the last time Westbrook won anything?
Even
Even made like a good playoff run.
Sam, that's not fair in the slightest because Jaylen Brown's always been on better teams than Russell Westbrook.
He's been on better teams, Jack, but everybody always hypes up Westbrook like he's this amazing winning, like he's going to change your life.
I'm not saying that, but I think he would win more games if that's the
argument.
I disagree with this argument, but I think if you put both of those players in the Thunder, like individually, Russell Westbrook will win more games with them. It can score. He can give you 25 a night. You can argue efficiency, whatever. It's
going to be an inefficient 25. Still, I know you just said it, but it's not going to be an efficient 25.
He'll give you a triple-double every night. And I know you can say those are just stats, but he makes the players around him better, and that is a fact. That is 100% a fact. And I'm going to say this now, and you can say Bradley Beal in part in it. Russell Westbrook fucking dragged the Washington Wizards to the play-in last year. They went 17-4 or something to end the season. And it was not Bradley Beal doing that. I'm telling you that. It was Russell Westbrook. Right? So he dragged them, clawed them. In those last 20 games, he averaged something like 25, 14, and 15. You can say, oh, empty stats. He dragged them to the playoffs. Take Russell Westbrook off that roster and look at that team. You have Bradley Beal, and the next best player is what? Daniel Gafford? Right? Like, that's impressive nonetheless. And you can gauge it off championships, but when you have Russell Westbrook with
it's not even championships, it's just more about like being on a team that's like legitimate.
What does that even mean?
Like nobody thought the Wizards were worth anything last season at any point.
Yeah, and they made the playoffs.
Yeah, but like nobody thought them to even be like a title contender. Like I can't explain it to you. It's just like, and it's not even a bias thing because I'll tell you. Give me somebody else. Let's see. You said Westbrook, and then who else is like underneath him? Gobert's different. He's like more of a role player.
Bradley Beal is 23. Drew Holiday is 22.
No. Like that Westbrook is better than on your list.
Oh, I had Westbrook better than Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, but Towns, they never win.
Klay Thompson. That's not fair either because he's coming off an injury and that played a part in my ranking a little bit. Jaylen Brown is 28. There you go. Right next. So I'm just saying, and you're not gonna like to hear this either because injuries, whatever. Jaylen Brown wasn't even playing, right?
He wasn't playing, but he was hurt.
I agree. I know. I was gonna say the Wizards won just as many playoff games as the Celtics last year.
Well, the Celtics beat the Wizards in the play-in.
They did. They did beat the Wizards. I stand by that though. Russell Westbrook is better than Jaylen Brown right now, and it's not by much. It's about 3 spots. I had him better than, but I do think he's better. Like I said, 26, 27, 28 was Karl Anthony Towns, Klay Thompson, Jaylen Brown. Got any problems there?
You said, I think it's hard because like then I backtrack and I see it. If I feel like if Towns is on a team like that was, I don't know. I'm not sure at this point because Towns doesn't do anything up there, man. And like that team isn't horrible anymore. Like they have decent pieces. Like
yeah,
Russell's a decent player. Edwards is proving to be a good player. Like they should be better than they are.
I agree. And, I'm going to say this. I'm still backing the Russell Westbrook point because I think at this point, so many people have, shit on Westbrook that he's now underrated instead of overrated. I think if you put Russell Westbrook on almost any team in the NBA, they make the playoffs or at least the play-in. Any team. Except, I guess maybe not the Thunder, but like almost, like so I said, almost any team. I think you put Russell Westbrook on that team and they make the play-in at the very least.
I don't know about that.
All right, name a team. We'll play the game.
Houston.
100%. Christian Wood, Russell Westbrook, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr. That is a play-in team. You cannot convince me otherwise.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Daniel Tice. You're telling me Daniel Tice is
Tice
make the playoffs with Russell Westbrook? I think the Rockets with Russell Westbrook currently constructed would make the play-in. You're telling me they can't be the 10 seed?
10 seed play-in means nothing, Jack. Honestly.
Okay, fine. I think
I'm not trying to like
I think they
dispute
can
your
make
argument because
playoffs.
I think when you put it like that, like 10 seed is like nothing, dog. Like
Exactly. I'm just saying if you put Russell, otherwise, okay, the Rockets are probably going to be a bottom 2-3 team in the conference. I think if you add Russell Westbrook, it
it's not
elevates
that
them.
hard to not be like a bottom 4-5 team in the conference.
I'm just saying Russell Westbrook makes those around him better, and that's why I have him where I have him. Anyways, you'll be happy with these next two. Jaylen Brown was 28. I had 29, 30, 31. Ben Simmons, Zion Williamson, John Morant. Right there.
Ben Simmons, so he's definitely better than Simmons.
Mm-hmm. You can make the argument with Zion, but Zion, he's not done much yet, so it's hard.
Zion hasn't done anything yet. No, I'm with you. Not Ja hasn't really either. See, I want to throw Simmons under the bus and say he's not as good as those guys, but he's done more than they have.
Mm-hmm. Ja's made the playoffs, but that's about it.
That is true. They did make the playoffs.
And they won a game.
Good for them.
32, 33, 34. We can just start wrapping up this list. I'll give you my next four. 32 was Sabonis. 33 was Julius Randle. 34 was Zach LaVine. And 35 was Brandon Ingram.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably fair. See, after this point, I kind of put them all at the same rank.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just running through the rest of the list just for the sake of it, and you can tell me if you have an issue. 36, I had Lowry. 37, I had De'Aaron Fox. 38, Jamal Murray. Again, if healthy. 39, Gordon Hayward. 40, CJ McCollum. 41, Clint Capella. 42, Nikola Vucevic. 43, Mike Conley. 44, Tobias Harris. 45, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Van Vliet, Draymond Green, Malcolm Brogdon, Colin Sexton, John Collins. And that rounds out the top 50.
I think Draymond might be a little bit high.
That's fair. I just think it's hard to.
But I also think he's going to have a.
Yeah. I understand. Notable names left off the list, I believe, were the likes of Christian Wood, Jeremy Grant, Kemba Walker. I think those were the next three off the list for me. But yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There you have it. The last thing I wanted to do today, now that we rented that out, I know you're 1,000% sick of talking about it at this point, but the Boston Celtics have a new TPE, Sam. They have a new one.
It's too early for this, Jack. They haven't even played a game yet.
Hey,
come on.
shiny, brand new, shiny TPE. What is it? 17 point something mil, I believe.
I scooped Keith on this one. I scooped him on it.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to run you down, to wrap up the episode here, a few potential candidates. What is the exact number? 17.1? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think that's what it is.
All right. So I'll run you through the potential candidates. I'm just going to go in order of salary. This is not going to be me, saying, oh, this guy.
Honestly, Jack, this could be your Schroeder trade if you really want to get into it.
It could be. It could be. So we can argue that for these as well. But unless it's, 17. Is it 17.1? Let me go.
I'm 90% sure it's that.
I'm not sure if it's 17.1 or 17.7, so I just want to quickly check before I start saying the wrong number too many times. It is 17.14. Yes. Okay. So starting off, 17.14. Clint Capella fits into that, but I don't think he's being dealt, so I think we can rule that out immediately. Steven Adams, from Memphis.
They don't want him. Is that an expiring actually?
No, Steven Adams
they
has...
don't want him then. They don't want him. They don't want him.
2 more years. Markelle Fultz fits into that.
Fultz is an interesting one. Even though I don't think they would want to give him up. If he's playing well. You know what I'm saying? It's not worth it to them.
They do have Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs now, though. So you never really know. They want...
Wouldn't it be something if they got Fultz after the whole Tatum thing? Like they traded basically Fultz for Tatum and then they got both of them.
Very funny.
I'm not out on Fultz yet, by the way.
I'm not either. I think he could have a good year if given the right circumstances. Aaron Gordon is next up. I don't think Denver is looking to move him, though, because I think he's
that would make any sense. They give up a lot to get him.
OG Anunoby, although he does have a big time extension. He's on the books for 4 more years, including this one. So.
At what?
16, 17, 18, 20.
Yeah, no, they only do that if they're out on Beal.
Davis Bertans, you in on him still?
That's a bad contract.
Yep, 16, 16, 17, 16.
Oh my God, it's 4 years. Oh my goodness.
Marcus Morris, but he is also on an extension. 15, 16, 17.
That's a lot for Marcus Morris. Jeez,
that's a lot of money.
That's
DeJounte Murray, 15, 16, 17.
Well, you're gonna have to give up more than Schroeder for him.
Maybe picks though. Spurs are in a weird state.
Celtics picks aren't gonna be anything.
Yeah, still. Derek White, another Spurs guy, 15, 16, 17, 18. There you go. Taurean Prince, 15, one and done. That is it. I actually don't mind that.
That's a lot of money for Taurean Prince.
Yeah, it was back when the Hawks were on that really good team. You know what I'm saying?
Goodness.
Anyways, one and done deal. I wouldn't mind, but the Timberwolves just traded for him, so I don't think they'll be getting him. Malik Beasley, but I don't think the Wolves will trade him, and he's on 14, 15, 16. He just got out of jail, so he will be playing.
Good for him. I hope that he was playing hoops.
It was just a 34-day sentence, so it's not like he was in there for a while. Pat Bev, but the Timberwolves just traded for him.
Pat Bev, fantastic. Would be a fantastic Celtic.
I agree. Thaddeus Young, 1 year with the Spurs, and so I don't know if they're looking to keep him.
Oh, it doesn't
1 year, 14.2, and it's a 1 year deal. So.
That would be an interesting one.
I agree. Valanciunas, and then Joe Ingles. I think Joe Ingles would be amazing on the Celtics. I think that would be maybe my favorite.
Well, he's white, Jack. I mean, of course,
not at all
what I meant. The Celtics.
But the rumors are the Jazz are looking to trade him or Bogdanovich to free up some cap space.
I've heard those rumors.
So I'm just saying, Joe Ingles for, the TPE, maybe a first round pick. I would do that in an absolute heartbeat. I think he would be amazing. Christian Wood, Brooke Lopez, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I think Caldwell-Pope would be great. 13 and 14 the next 2 years. I think that'd be amazing. Past that, I don't see anybody too interesting. TJ Warren's not bad. Terrence Ross does fit into that.
TJ Warren's not a bad one.
Dylan Brooks as well. Rumors they're looking to move
him. They would not give him up for nothing.
They're looking to trade him though. I mean, if you give them some young players and picks, I'd do that in a heartbeat. I don't see much else here. Larry Nance just got traded. He's out. Jeremy Lamb maybe. Kyle Anderson's still there.
People in love with Kyle Anderson.
He's a great player. I think he's a good player.
Like him, man.
Good passer, good scorer. He's slow, but that's not everything, people. Come on. But yeah, that's about it I see for the potential TPE trades. I wouldn't mind any of those players I just mentioned. So maybe someone can get a deal done in there. Robert Covington also, if the,
Robert Covington, I think they're not going to get rid of it. I think they're gearing up for a run, which is good. Means Lillard's not going to get traded.
I'm just saying, halfway through the season, they're doing shitty. They want to blow it up. Give me Robert Covington all day.
I don't think they're going to.
Tim, I think our friend Tim brought that up as well. But yeah, I think they might end up disappointing more than some people realize. But the Larry Nance trade certainly helps. So we'll see how the Blazers do. But that is about it.
I'm excited for the Celtics, man. I don't know. I'm just maybe I'm hyping myself up and I'm starting to get in on them, but I'm excited for the depth. I think they've got the same team as last year. It was good for a while. They had some stretches where they were good. They started the season 8-3 with Marcus running the point, and then Kemba came back.
You blame him,
which isn't his fault. I mean, he was supposed to come back. Good for him. But Marcus, he's proved he can do it. I'm telling you. It did all
go downhill. It went all downhill after that Knicks game where Kemba played. It was all downhill after that, I will say. But yeah. Anyways.
Something I wanted to bullshit about. I forgot what it was. Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll put this story in because it's funny. So we were at the bus stop up in Liverpool. We were like, they have like this mall place there. It's called City Center.
Yeah.
And we're at the bus stop, and this old fuck is sitting there, and he's like bitching about something. He's like talking to these people, And me, Frank, and Joe were standing there, and we haven't said a word, so he doesn't know anything. He doesn't even know where they are really.
Yeah.
He's complaining that there's so many people at the bus stop. Oh, there's so many people at the bus stop, or however the hell he talks. And I don't think anybody should be able to go on the bus if they don't have a British passport. Right? So
What
we're
the
all just
hell?
sitting there. We're like, oh, jeez. We're targets now. And then, like, somebody asks him why, and he brings up Afghanistan, which doesn't make any sense. And then, like, people get really mad at him, and everybody at the bus stop starts coming at this dude, right? Like, from all directions, like, they yelling at him.
Jesus.
And he's just sitting there, and he's like, hey, everybody hold on a minute. I think we should all calm down. Meanwhile, this dude's freaking out, screaming, right? And they're like, calm down. What are we going to calm down for? He's like, well, I'm old enough. Like, what do you mean you're old enough?
What
Oh,
does
it was
that even
great.
mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but it
Wow.
was hilarious. This guy's a legend. Good for
Dude
him.
got absolutely roasted at the bus stop. That is
Good
amazing.
for him.
But
They almost fell on his ass on the bus stop. It was tough for him.
brutal. Absolutely brutal. But yeah, like I said, that's all I had for today. Any other Celtics things you wanted to bring up before we get out of here?
No, nothing off the top of my head.
Well, then we can call it for a day. We'll be potting again soon because it has been a while. But thank you guys all for listening. This has been From the Rafters. You guys can follow me at Jack Simone NBA. You can follow us at Bannertown USA. And per usual, Sam, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening or watching. If you watched, you got to see the bonus of Jack and my drip. Right? We got the drip on today.
Sir.
First time recording in forever because we were busy guys, went on vacations, as we told you. But it's good to be back. Yeah, we weren't canceling the show or anything. Don't worry. We'll be back regularly. I work. Jack writes all the time, so we're busy guys. But yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Again, you can follow Jack at Jack Simone NBA. You can follow Bannertown at Bannertown USA. Jesus, don't follow Banner USA. And you can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's our show for today. Bye.